I couldn't help myself, so I've done a little bit of tweaking, a little bit more tweaking to the upper leg before going on to the lower leg, and I just felt that I could nail those contours a lot better with what I have, and I think I'm doing pretty good here. I was intentionally dropping this edge loop right here down the center of the knee, down the center of this tendon, down the center of whatever this middle muscle is, right down the center of that. I follow that line up. I straightened out the hip a little bit, did a little tweaking along the edges using the edge slide constraint, just a tiny bit up here, but the abdomen looked good. I tweaked this a little bit. I tweaked the crotch a little bit more around the inside because I felt that the angle wasn't quite right. And I also made a layer for my mesh so I could hide it and look at the references more closely. But I angled up around where the anus would be. I angled that up so that when I look at this from profile and I have the inside thigh, I angled, let's go back to the wireframe. So you can see I angled it upwards here and there, which right now it probably could be pushed back further. Come to, looking at this another time, second time, I could probably grab those vertices and just translate them further back. Let's go back. That doesn't want to. It's okay. Um, anyway, so I just wanted to give you some glimpse of how I'm rounding out the leg, and it's coming along well. I've got a flat spot on the inside of the leg, but that's going to change soon when I increase that geometry. And the butt is still pretty flat, but the vertices that I have do match the contour. So if I go to the right hand view, I was careful to ensure that. Oh, that's why I wouldn't move. I was careful to ensure that these vertices stay on contours, even though, when looking at it from back here, it's really nothing much going on. And I've done a bit of analysis off camera as well, just staring at it, figuring out what my next move's going to be. But I think the obvious answer is I need to work on the calf, so that's where we're going. Okay, onto the lower leg. Let's start in the front view and start with the widest point of the lower leg. So we'll use the quad draw. Well, we'll select the model first. Yeah, there we go. Turn on the modeling toolkit, quad draw, and then let's drop one at the widest point. And let's select that edge loop and scale it. It looks fairly wide in the back there. So let's go to tweaking. Okay, and we want that center line that I mentioned, this one, the one that's in between the two toes here. Run that right down the center of the shin, right down the center of the knee, down the center of the thigh, and that's the one that's going to be splitting between the two digits, between ring finger and middle finger on the palm of the hand. That's going to run down the center of the arm, down the center of the bicep, down the center of the deltoid. Probably not the center of the pectoral, though I don't see that as unreasonable. I'll know more when we get to the neck, because when I add the neck and the head, there's going to be some more edges running down here, and I may not want this one to be center of pec. And obviously it's off center on abdomen, so it's on the obliques. So that works out really well. Center of legs, center of arms, center of foot digits for both feet and hands. Yeah, just run this right down the shin bone. Whatever that bone's called, the shin bone. Switch to the right hand view before proceeding with any more edge loops. So this references, so this edge is the outside of the leg. This reference is the outside of the leg. Okay. And then this one is the inside of the leg. And this reference is the inside of the leg. So we can move that vertex here. I hope that's not too confusing. Okay. That's pretty decent. Okay, let's drop another edge loop here at the low end of this curvature in the shin. Wow, that almost perfectly matched it. Love that tool. Actually, let's run that down the center of this inside muscle on the inside of the thigh. Yeah, that's the inside of the thigh, and this is the inside reference. Nice. So I kind of wiggle that to see where is it connected. Okay, let's not pull that too hard. I want to pull hard on that, but it's going to be a problem because it's going to make that too long. We can tweak that further later. Don't get too obsessed about that, Matt. Okay. Decent. Let's go to the outside reference. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is the outside one, yeah. Yeah, there we go. So I'm switching, as you probably guessed by now, I'm switching shaded and wireframe just because I can't see which one's on which side of the leg. Okay, switch to the front view before we go on to another edge loop. Hide the reference just for a moment. That's okay. I think maybe let's go to perspective. Whoa, whoa, perspective. Um, yeah, I just don't have very much information, edges on the inside of the calf to really articulate that shape. I mean, I could tug on that vertex a little, but I probably should just leave it alone for now. But that's on contour. That's good. That's right on the contour. We'll just leave that alone. There just isn't enough information there to really make a difference. And if I did insert an edge loop on the inside of the thigh, yeah, you can see how it would run on the outside of I'm sorry, on the inside of the shin here for the calf. That's going to give me lots of geometry on the inside, and it's going to flip around to the outside. This is the very same edge loop I described earlier that's going to cut across the front of the toes and cut across the front of the fingers, which is going to be great because it'll help us to round out those digits. Okay, one more edge loop or at the front view. Yeah, one more edge loop at the low point of this curve, and tweak it. I am looking at yeah, I'm looking at the front. Go to the right. I can't remember which edge loop that is, so I'm going to go back to front, select it. Oh, okay, that's where it is. Okay. Let's go to the back. Okay, I know the back reference is off a bit. It seems okay. What I'm really looking for here is not if I'm matching contours from the back view, but whether I have, straight, one edge is pointing straight at another one, and if I have them overlapping too much. Like, there should be some amount of non-overlap, which would suggest curvature. From an orthogonal viewport, when you don't overlap them, it suggests curvature, and that's critical. Like there, and there. Actually, probably just pull these in just a little harder. Yeah, that's the bulky part of the calf. So just pull these in a little harder, and then switch to the right hand view, and then pull them out, because they probably pulled them off profile. Nope. Nope. It seems okay. Let's look at this in perspective, shaded, without reference. Let's soften it. Yeah, it's feeling okay. It's not too bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so let's go back to hardened edge, wireframe, and let's continue adding edge loops to the shin and knee and ultimately ankle to match contours. I'm going to say this before I forget, that it's important that we have a reasonable amount of geometry around the knee. I think that goes without saying by this point, but maybe it does need to be said that, I've got 3 on the knee. That's the bare minimum for a low polygon character, which is currently our objective, but um, eventually, if we want a really nice deformable knee, 5 to 7 edge loops running crosswise will pay off. Okay, continuing with the shin. All right, let's get this low point in the curves, in the contours. Quad draw. Tweak it. Okay, another low point in the curves here. Quad draw. Tweak that. switch to the right hand view before going further, tweak them further. Do you see how I do that where I'll raise it just slightly above the other one? That's my, even though it may not be for any other anatomical reason, but I do that to give me a visual cue that, okay, that one's in the back, and I won't stack them on top of each other. I'll just kind of like raise one slightly above the other one. And that tells me, okay, that's on the other side. I, I've been doing it, actually. I wasn't even saying it out loud. Maybe you noticed that I do that. Okay, let's look at the inside of the leg and the edges that are on the inside. Yeah, good. Okay, there's still one more narrow part to the shin here. Let's insert an edge loop there. Oh, that was perfect. That's perfect. Let's switch to the outside of the leg reference. Yeah. That's nice. And switch back to front and confirm that we're on contours. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure where that one should go. Okay. And then let's just take one last look at it. I think we could do with one more in this bulky part. And yeah, that would play nicely on the profile view too. So let's insert one more here and tweak it. Yeah, I have transform constraints on edge turned on, and I'm going through the mesh, um, looking for a balance of distribution of polygons. Okay, beyond just matching contours, because I know that from the front view that this edge on the inside follows the contour, and so I just wanted to have a balance of these edges on the inside having a decent distribution which helps to round the surface out. And I'm using the edge dragging so that it doesn't, pull and collapse inwards, that it actually slides along the edge relatively cleanly. So when I switch to the back view, I'm basically looking for the same thing. Just a little bit where, like I did earlier when I wanted to see vertices that are behind, just move it to the side just a little bit. I did it over here earlier as well, so that the curvature starts to emerge, starts to come out. And I'll need more in here to be successful. So those calves are looking pretty good. The ankles are looking pretty good. Um, Definitely have a higher density, but it is starting to get a better flow. And I imagine that when I split these vertically, these rectangular shaped polygons will be a bit more square, which is ultimately what I'm after. So ultimately, I'm going to have a division for every part of this thigh, many more on the butt, and but I want to get back to the arms and continue on the arms what I've been doing to the legs. So let's do something that we haven't done yet, that I haven't done yet. Let's delete the construction history in object mode. So delete by type history. And that will blow out all of that. Very good. Let's continue the process. Let's continue the process of adding cross-section edge loops crosswise on legs and arms and torso and hands and feet. Let's get back to the arms. And let's begin with the wide point on the bicep. So quad draw, insert, and tweak it. Switch to the right hand view and switch to the right hand reference. So here's the front of the bicep, and my arm isn't quite there yet. He's got a big bicep here. So there we go. That's more like it. And yeah, that's the back of the arm. Let's use that slide edge slide constraint. Keep these in place. And pull that forward. better. Deltoid comes in a little. We could give a little bit of an exaggerated pinch there and distribute these just a little bit better. Yeah. This could go to the top of the deltoid, back, collarbone, pectoralis. Okay, and let's drop another edge loop at this high point of the bicep. And tweak that one. Okay, go to the front view. Make sure we're not off track too much. I guess this one should be the contour edge. I'll tuck this one back. That's the contour edge. That's better. Be consistent. And let's go to the back and just take a look at oh, I guess I was looking at the back. No. Yeah, I was looking at the back. Okay. Doesn't appear too damaged. Okay. Let's continue one more on the bicep. There. And let's use edge slide. Select the entire edge loop. This one. Edge. And slide that whole edge up. And slide this whole edge up. That's Well, that doesn't really work. I guess I want that to be at the high point. Let me undo. Now, I guess that makes sense for it to be right there. Okay. I just wanted to have an even spacing. I guess that's pretty decent. I could bring... No, that one should stay there too. So I guess I'll divide this one again up here eventually. Okay, and I'll go to the right-hand view and check that one. Looks okay. Go to the back view. Looks... I need a back reference. Seems okay. Alright. Okay, let's go down the forearm. Insert an edge loop here. Tweak. I really think this edge loop here should be at the high point of this curve here. Let's try and keep it that way. I am looking at the front view. Yeah. Side view, right-hand view. Let's select that edge. Actually, it makes it easier to make these decisions. And go to the right view. Turn off the mesh. Yeah. That looks pretty good where it is. Paid off to do that early topology work. The early contour work, it's paying off. Okay, now let's insert again. And probably just minor tweaks here. The back view. And front view. Alright, and stay true to the front view, because that's the one that we're staying true to. Okay, and again, about there. Let's use the edge slide. Turn that edge slide off, get the contours. Switch to the right-hand view. With the edge loop selected, switch to the right view. Looks to be good. Switch to the back view. Okay, we're not matching the back view, I'm just getting a look at it. Seems okay. Let's do front view again and do a supporting edge before and after the wrist for 3 edges on the wrist. Quad draw before and after, and then tweak those two. Front view reference. Yeah, front view reference. And just making sure that those are down on the knuckles, and apparently I was a little off. And with shaded view, let's turn that slide edge on thing and get some good spacing so that preparing for the split that I'm going to do here and here. Let's space these out. Distribute those. Just need to see a little bit of curvature, not a lot, so I can pull these closer to contour. Let's switch to perspective. See how we're holding up. Yeah, it's a little weird in the form. So I'm keeping the contour on the right hand view. I'm assuming I'm keeping the contour on the right hand view. Yeah. Very close to contour. That one. Let me select the two polygons so they can become the thumb. So, thumb. This would actually be a great opportunity to make the thumb. I should just shift gears and make the thumb right now, because that's going to have its own independent set of loops. So I'm going to get to the thumb. Get to the thumb in just a moment here. I see a bit of flatness here in the musculature I want to work out. Okay, it's shaping up. It's coming along. It's decent. Okay, onto that thumb. Alright, so let's look at the front view. And I made it really easy for the thumb to be created. It's just going to come right off the side there. And then we're going to do a series of full appendage extrusions, where we're going to grab the entire appendage and extrude in order to build the loops for the thumb. And we can do the same thing for the opposite side of the hand. In fact, I'm going to drop a supporting edge on the other side of this part of the palm so that I can control and govern, so I can control this a little bit better. So I'm going to drop it about there. Okay. And then that one and that one become thumb. And similar processes before, we're going to just match contours and extrude as we go. We could go straight for the end of the thumb, that's entirely fine. We could just grab some vertices here, go straight for the end of the thumb, do a little tweaking. Yeah, so the thumb is really going to become its own island, if you will. So those big body splits that I'm going to do won't have anything to do with the thumb. So in order to get additional splits on the tip of the thumb or to detail the thumb, we'll have to do those entirely separate from the other parts of the thumb. Which is fine. Not a big deal. Am I still looking at the front view? Yeah. Yeah. Good. Excellent. Let's just tuck this back so that I can see, yeah, this one. I want to see that one because that one's eventually going to become the webbing between forefinger and thumb. So that position is important. Okay, and then let's do more splits. Let's do 3, and then tweak. Q, W, Q, W, Q, W, Q, W, Q, W. More Qs. And like I did earlier, tweak it just so you can see that contour line. So you can see the edge above and the contour line below. Not enough to articulate the tip of the thumb, but we'll work with that for now. Let's try and stay on knuckle too. So knuckle, so that would be like nail. So that one can stay there. That's nail. This one, oops. This one can be knuckle, first knuckle. So we only have 2 knuckles in the thumb that are planar joints, and then the base of the thumb, which is kind of a multi-planar joint, not a full rotary joint, but it can move in more than one direction. Which, over here, it can move in more than one direction. So we're going to move this second, or this third edge loop more towards that first big knuckle. which is right about there. And let's switch to back view. Let's turn off the reference just for a moment. Shaded. And you know, there is a display that'll tell me which camera I'm in. There we go. So now it says back right there, so I can just look right there to remind myself which camera I'm in. So I don't have to keep double checking. Okay. Ooh, pretty bad from the right-hand view. Let's go to the right-hand view. Oh, we're going to have more of that, are we? Let's go to the perspective view. You know, let's just have a little fun. Let's just select those two faces on the front of the thumb. Click soft select. Well, yeah, there it goes, soft select. And then just reduce the range. And then choose scale. And let's just scale it in. No, that's not going to work, is it? So let's do custom, adjust pivot, and click a polygon, and align, hold shift and control, and align to this vertex. And see how the x-axis is aligned with it. And now choose X. Turn off adjust, choose X, and then just scale on X. Is it going to do it? It's not going to do it, is it? Yeah, it's a little weird. I was hoping that would work. Okay, I guess we're just going to tweak. We're just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. So, tweaking points it is. Turn the soft selections off. I think eventually I'm just going to get frustrated with that hovering of the mouse, grabbing points way behind. It's not even close to where I want to be. I think I'm just going to have to cut the arm off, separate it, and work on that separately, and hide the other parts. Because that's going to continue to be very frustrating with all the digits. So looking at the right-hand view reference is kind of a moot issue, except for maybe the angle of the thumb leaning forward, because I know that things don't match up. But the angle we can definitely keep to. Let's go with edge loops and move edge loops forward. Looks like I'm losing symmetry on the other side. I probably lost it when doing that custom access stuff. It seems to throw things off. It happened to me on another model. Perspective. Okay, that looks like garbage. You know, I'm not going to model according to the angle. I don't know. Just doesn't seem right. Having that thumb forward. Doesn't seem right. It doesn't really marry well with the way it is right here. It seems like the thumb is completely out on the front view. whereas on the side view it's forward a bit. I guess it's just kind of like it's naturally hanging there. He's not holding it back. I'm more inclined to just hold the thumb back, like the thumb is back here, so that it's flat on the front view, which I imagine would make it far easier to rig to have all the digits on a single plane, like you have your hand taut and flat. I guess that thumb would arc out a little bit. I'm just looking at my own hand right now. Okay. So I'm going to undo a couple of those steps where I dragged that thumb forward. Let's just pop back to where I was. And I'm going to switch, since I lost symmetry anyway, I'm going to switch to regular Maya modeling. So I've got this turned off. Let's close that. And I'm going to cut this thing in half. Let's turn off symmetry. I'll do this from the front view. And I'm just going to tweak that thumb without the modeling toolkit, because yeah, that's good. Just delete that. And we'll just work on the half. So this can get pretty frustrating, so we're just going to go with some regular introduction to modeling skills. And even without reference, just for the moment, I just want to round out that shape and spend a little time on that. So I'll turn on tweak mode and just get in here. Okay, now, okay, actually, scratch that. I can't round the thumb out, all right? I need a supporting edge running down the length of the thumb. All right, that much we know. So we need to get that in place first. Just let me square things out. And then I think once I'm done with that, I can... It's still doing it. Okay, it's still trying to grab vertices behind. I guess that's just something I'm going to have to deal with. So let's also take the arm, the entire arm. So select the chunk of the hand and hit Shift greater than, and grow your selection up to the shoulder, right about there, and go to Mesh and choose Extract. So now that's a separate object. And then hide the body. Okay. Now, hopefully, we won't have too many problems with the cursor trying to jump to other body parts. Still wants to jump to the hand. How annoying. Okay, so like I said, before I make those adjustments, let's split down the length of the thumb. So that's going to be, let's just do insert edge loop, and approximately down the center. That works. Let's delete the history, because usually extracting meshes causes problems, so let's delete the history. Okay, now that we've got a line running down the length of the thumb, which we had originally, and now we've got a line running down the crossways of the thumb, now we can actually spend some thought on having the thumb slightly rounded. So now we can, probably more towards the tip. Let's start with the tip. Same strategy as before, where you can see the contour edge of the thumb and the edge just above it. Same idea. Plus tapering the thumb. This is going to become the thumbnail. This is the first knuckle, center of the first knuckle. This is the center of the second knuckle. Or I should say this is probably the first knuckle. This is the second knuckle. I'm relying less on references at the moment and relying more on what I know about hands. Again, I'm limited as to how much I can articulate this, but at least the thumb can start to appear roundish curvature with at least these crosswise splits. Again, that's the thumbnail, so that's flatter. That's flatter, and it's rounder at the bottom of the thumb. This is a knuckle, so that's ultimately going to be tucked in, and then this will be padded out. So this is padded out. Knuckle will dip in. I'm going to insert an edge loop right about there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is grab a bit of vertices. About that much. And I'm going to turn soft selections on. Just B on the keyboard. Hold down B, change the range of soft selections. You can do that. Also, make sure that soft selections is set to surface, not global or volume. Make sure it's set to surface. So it has to crawl the surface in order to catch the vertices. Alright, so I want to grab a bit of thumb, probably just the tip of the thumb, or the thumbnail, grow the soft selections until it captures some of it, and then I want to go to this view, choose rotate, probably not quite that view, maybe this view, because I'm going to use the yellow handle. Hold down D, move the pivot point, and then just grab the yellow handle to point the thumb. So we can point the thumb like that. So maybe a little bit more on the soft selections. It's not quite what I want. Okay, that's better. I'm not sure why that vertex shot away. I'll go get it. Okay, let's go to the right-hand view, look at the reference. So I'm just trying to get the thumb kind of, tap B to turn off soft selections, tap W to get back to tweaking. I want to get the thumb kind of going in that direction, and I don't know why that vertex just shot way, way off. No. Yeah, there we go. Turn off tweak mode, I can grab it. Oh, if I didn't say it already, the thumb is hard. I think the hand is hard. First of all, I think it's harder than the face. It's so subtle. There's all these different angles and planes. I think any artist would agree that it's the most expressive and challenging thing to make in the human body. Maybe in parallel with the human face, and certainly far more difficult than the feet or shoulders. So this can take some time. In fact, I'll probably do some of this off camera for how long it's going to take. Just tweaking and trying to get the correct shape and I'm inclined to just have like this natural. If you hold your hand out in front of you, and then put it down towards your side, like how our model is, and kind of keep your fingers taut, slightly arced backwards, but then your thumb pulled back, but the tip of the thumb is relaxed. That's that kind of arc I'm looking for. You don't have to hold the thumb back. Just let it drop. That's the kind of shape that I'm looking for. So this is going to take me some time. Actually, I'm getting pretty close. It's not taking nearly as long as I thought it would. Just make sure this edge loop stays on the knuckle. Don't get distracted like I do. Make sure that stays on the knuckle. Okay, I'm not going to follow these contours. I'm just taking a look at it, and I seem to have a very good similar shape and contour. I could probably use another edge here to get that curve articulated. Let's go back to front view. Yeah, to get this curve, this little outward bump articulated. So I'm going to insert an edge loop. Like there, and tweak it. No. I need the... I'm still looking at the back. There we go. Okay, now that I've got a couple of nice crossways edge loops on the thumb towards the base, I'm going to tuck this one in, because that's eventually going to become what's going to help become the I don't know what I'm trying to say here. This little muscle pad of the thumb. All that. Again, I'm just using normal, traditional tweaking right now. I'm not in the modeling toolkit. And let me make sure that so my polygon shapes aren't that ridiculous. You know, it's not like I'm pulling it way over here or something. So it's still close to the square shapes I'm looking for. This one's getting a little weird, but there's still time and opportunity to cut that and to improve it. Let's look at this in perspective. Okay, it's looking better. Back of this side of the thumb's a little broken. Again, that's the fingernail. And ultimately, I think it's going to be best to study the thumb from perspective view. There is no orthogonal view that can describe the thumb. It's just not flat enough. It's at a very different angle from everything else, and to flatten the thumb is really very difficult. That's why the thumb is so useful. That's why we can do so many things with our hand. Okay, in order to get this little pad to the thumb, I would need more division, so I'm going to forego that for now. And just try and get that crookedness out of the thumb that I added there after doing the rotation. You know, that really wasn't that bad. That came together pretty quick. I think this edge overall is a little odd and should be rotated from the view, like that. And then maybe just the whole thing moved a little bit. And then double check that in the front view, make sure I'm still on knuckle. Yeah, I'm still on the knuckle. But see, it made more sense, much more sense in perspective on that, because it looked like it was making sense in the front view, but it really was nonsense. Okay, I think that's enough for the thumb for the moment. It matches about the level of detail as everything else. So I'm going to put the body back together and symmetrize, or yeah, I guess symmetrize it again. The arm's looking pretty good. You know, with the arms separate, this really gives me some insight as to what's going on the inside of the arm there. Yeah, decent. Oh, okay, I see. I got a little bit of an overlap there. Probably shouldn't mess with those too much, actually. Probably shouldn't mess with those at all, because I still need to combine this back together. Okay, let's just make a mental note that they're a little screwed up, and come back to that. And I have to raise the arm up anyway, eventually, because this simply is not smart to rig, to have the arm down like that. So, I mean, I'm going to have to raise it up, get in the armpit anyway. We'll do that when there's digits. All right, let's put this thing back together. Let's delete the construction history. I actually put a delete construction history on my custom modeling set here. I don't know, is it, yeah, it's just delete dash construction history, so go ahead and tap that. And then select both of these things, and then hit Shift P to unparent it, and delete that helper group. And then combine these two together, mesh combine. And yeah, so apply, and then the vertices are not quite together, so go to Edit Mesh and choose Merge Components, Option Box, and set the tolerance really low, 0.001, and hit OK, or hit Apply. And then again, delete the construction history. So now we're back to the raw mesh, and I should have pretty good, let's hide the references, I should have pretty, it should be okay on the inside here. So we made a mental note that there's some issues on the inside here, some overlaps. Eventually I'll have to contend with those. I would like to take care of it now, but it might not be a good idea because I really can't see what's really going on in there. Okay, so we'll just save that one for later when I raise the arm up. Okay. All right, and then symmetry, mirror the geometry. So mesh, mirror geometry, same settings as before. And then pick an edge. Let's pick an edge where the neck is going to be, and open the modeling toolkit and turn that on and turn on symmetry. Okay, so that's back together, and we're ready to use the modeling toolkit again. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next hour.